With the upcoming release of Lord of the Rings, players will be dealing with a calamity, but it's not what you think. Another day closer to the release of Lord of the Rings, and no matter how you slice this pie, it's going to be a moneymaker. So welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel. Big shout out and thank you to the regular viewers as well as the people hitting that subscribe button, because we're only 14 subscribers away from hitting 16,000 subs. Thanks again, guys. And I can't wait till we get to that 20,000 subscriber mark, and the party that will follow will be epic. Now, serious stuff. Lord of the Rings is getting closer. It releases what, June 23rd, I believe? And this product is coming down the pipe. But there's things that players need to be aware of. Number one, we know it's a premium price product. We know it's expensive. And that's where things get a little bit different for players. We all know the collector box is the only place you can get the one ring, the gimmick, the salesmanship, the commercial in a box. That is the one ring, the one of one. There's also other serialized cards of those rings in there. I get it. But that's the premium price product that they're hoping to get you for. You got the draft boxes, premium price, double the cost of a regular booster box. Set boosters, even more than that. And that's where a lot of players are going to spend money. But you know, there's another thing you should be aware of, another little piece of information that a lot of people aren't thinking about. We have the Jumpstart products still existing in this space. And although I'm not a fan of those Jumpstart little boxes, I don't like them. I've never been a Jumpstart fan per se. These are going to sell well, because not everyone wants to spend $250 to experience a game of Lord of the Rings and Magic. But they can buy that Jumpstart box here locally for what, $119.99, $124.99, somewhere in there for Canadians. That's a lot cheaper. It's half the cost. So if you just want to play the game and have some fun with some friends, they're going to buy those Jumpstart boxes. But even cheaper than that are the players who are going to buy the starter kit. For $19.99, you get the 2 decks. Just like the olden school days. And Wizards was smart to put all these products out there for players on this particular product, this lineup, because all of them are going to sell well. There are players who just want to experience it. They don't care if the cards are good or bad. They don't care if it's a collectible product or not. They want to play it. They want to experience it. Friends, family, people who don't normally play Magic might be enticed to play a game or two around a Saturday night table on a games night. It's a possibility. And if they buy 1 or 2 of those decks or one Jumpstart box and keep the decks together, that offers them and affords them the opportunity at a much lower price point, almost like buying an expensive board game. If you keep it, keep in good shape, you can keep them together forever. And that's where I think a lot of people have failed to acknowledge what Wizards is doing when they're branching this stuff out. Now that I've informed you of that, now that you guys can mull that over in your brains, you can tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right. Either way, that's how I feel things are going. Let's take a look at this product. We know the spoilers are coming soon, right? We're getting every day is a little bit closer to spoiler season. They've given us a taste of the cards. And I want to share some of these cards with you. I've looked them over a few times now, and there are cards I'm more interested in than others, but it's the idea of what the product looks like and what some of the cards will be. So let me show you the first one here. This one here is the Delighted Halfling, okay? It's a 1/2 creature for 1. You know, he's sitting around, he's sitting in the Shire having a good time. Now, this card has tap to add 1 wasteland mana to your mana pool. Now, remember, this is not standard legal, but these will be legal in Commander, okay? They're legal in Modern. Always pay attention. It says, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast legendary spells, and that spell can't be countered. So think about it. You get that guy on the board, he basically makes your spells uncounterable as long as they're legendary. And there's a lot of legendary decks that will be coming down the pipe in the future. Not just cards from Lord of the Rings, like in general, legendary spells. There was a card back in the day, I think it was Lorwyn or Shadowmoor, Vexing Shusher. And you could pay 2 mana and make a spell uncounterable, and Vexing Shusher couldn't be countered. This is a strictly better version. Easier to get out, quick to use. It's insane that it even adds mana to your mana pool. Don't ignore cards like this. It's going to be a huge seller. If you get some, pay attention to cards like this. Can't explain enough. It's going to be an epic card. It's going to see a lot of play. Now, how about we take a look at Mount Doom? This card, when I first saw it, I'd mentioned it to you guys. Number 1, it's a pain land. You can pay 1 life, add black or red to your mana pool. This is going in my Throwbolt deck. My commander deck is going to have this card. But it's interesting, you can pay 1 generic, 1 black, 1 red. Mount Doom deals 1 damage to each opponent. So everybody in the commander, you get all a slap to the face. Imagine all the cards out there that say untap target land. Not basic land, just the ones that say untap target land. And imagine what this can do in recursion where you can multiple effect it. It can be kind of crazy. But not only that, not that Mount Doom is already good enough. Look at the last one. 1 red, 1 black, 5 other. Sacrifice Mount Doom and a legendary artifact. Choose up to 2 creatures, then destroy the rest, activate as a sorcery. Now, Mount Doom may not be as powerful as I'd like. It doesn't say exile. It doesn't say anything crazy, because things that are destroyed, of course, can be regenerated. There's all these regeneration token things you can put on stuff now, but it's still a great board clearance that will deal with a lot of issues for you, and it counts as a land, which means people generally in commander games don't have as many ways of dealing with mana problems like that. When you have a land out there, you know, they may have a strip mine, they may not. Okay, it's not the first thing that goes into everyone's decks, but this is a very interesting land that will probably see some fairly decent sales, and over the long term will continue to see play. Now remember, I understand all these cards are getting reprinted, and so should you. They're coming back around, but it could be a few years, and this will probably be the only printing that has this kind of artwork to it, unless they've extended contracts, because they like to reskin things later on. They like to secret layer it later on. So Mount Doom might be Mount, I don't know, Mount Happy Days, whatever they're going to call it. Mount Nachos and Cheese. And when they have it that way with a new skin and new image, but it does the same thing. But this one could be a little more unique. Some of these cards might be a little more special. Maybe. Depends on how you look at this product, but it is something to keep in mind that it's probably going to be a couple of years, and this card's going to see a lot of play. Now, the print run for all this stuff is going to be very high, though, so I'd still wait unless you have to have it right away, or unless you open it in a pack when you're just having some fun. Wait for these cards to price. Just drop right down. Wait the 120 days. They're going to fall. This stuff is going to get opened like you wouldn't believe. Unless they make them hard to get at, which I doubt, something to keep in mind. Now, the next card. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. Now, most of you guys will be saying, hey, I know he's got flash. Yeah. He's 1 blue. He's 3 generic. He's a 2/4. I don't care about any of that. The flash is nice. I do like the fact that you can cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. That's a nice, interesting sidebar. Yeah, the tempting ring stuff, I don't really care about that as a game mechanic. Pay attention to the Avatar Wizard. Legendary creature, Avatar Wizard. Because we all know that when this stuff comes along, number 1, think about all the wizards out there even now. Think of all the different types of wizards there are. There is going to be opportunities eventually for Wizard Tribal. Cards like this could have value because they can flash in and get the job done in some cases. It's something to think about because at the end of turn, you could cast that guy out, draw out counter spells, or get him on the board, use up people's mana. It's just one of those cards that goes, not to mention it also has the avatar piece to it. These multi things they're doing now with creature types being on 2 or 3 different things just makes me wonder what's coming down the pipe, because this is usually a long plan to add more versatility to the decks, okay? They're planning things down the pipe that most people are going to miss out on. But when I see cards like that, it makes me think about it. I remember looking at early Wizard cards and not thinking much of them, but over the years, just like I talk about with Didgeridoo on the reserve list, these kind of cards with more Minotaurs coming down the pipe might see a lot more play. They might become a lot more valuable. So how will this card interact with other cards means speculators might be finding cards that could be valuable a couple of years from now, or there might be backdated reserve list cards which could have value. But I'll put those on a card watch video if I find anything interesting. All right, now let's check out the next one. Here's Gandalf the Grey, another Gandalf card. Now this one is only a rare. It's a 3/4. It's going to be everywhere. But I do like it again because it says Avatar and Wizard. It has the 1 blue, the 1 red. Yeah, it's 5 to cast, but you notice when it says here, whenever you cast an instant or sorcerer spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen. I like the fact it can tap or untap permanents. It does 3 damage to each opponent. Remember with Mount Doom and stuff? Think about the effects you can do with this stuff. Copy, target instant or sorcery spell you control. You can put new targets for that spell. Very nice. And then, of course, you put Gandalf on top of its owner's library. Now, this does definitely remind me of Ral Zarek. And, of course, Ral Zarek could fit with this. But when I'm looking at that Gandalf, fitting with Ral Zarek, fitting with Mount Doom, the 3 damage to all your opponents, the 1 damage to all your opponents, think about all those cards that can start really adding up massive damage in a very short period of time. There are lots of ways of getting these things out when you start mixing 3, 4, and 5 color decks together. And this is just one of those cards, I feel, again, Avatar Wizard with all the extra effects like Ralzeric, except for the turn taking, but you do get to put it back in your library and do it all again. So if you had a card like Ralzeric or a Time Walking deck, and you get to have 4, 5, 6 turns, imagine how many times you're going to be using that card and just recasting it from the top, or unsummoning it and recasting it. You add some sorcery and instant spells into your deck, you're going to be in for like a really good time. Now the last one here, Tom Bombadil. Now, number one, the name's awesome. Card's amazing. But again, God Bard. Remember all the gods we saw in Lord of the Rings? Not Lord of the Rings, sorry. Baldur's Gate and Forgotten Realms. We saw God cards, okay? And we've seen them also in Theros. So God and then Bard is kind of like a D&D thing. Guys, it's also a 5-color. And it gets out all your cool Saga cards. And we know there's new Saga cards up. So how is that going to interact and connect with other cards? He's going to be a great commander. He's going to mix in with things like Joda very easily. But it shows the way Wizards is trying to split things off into these 5-color decks, 4-color decks, bringing soldiers, bringing warriors, berserkers, trolls, whatever they want. They are adding a lot of changes that people thought weren't coming. And if you want to get ahead of the curve, you've got to be looking ahead and paying attention to this stuff. The real calamity that will be facing each and every player is the price point of this product. It is a premium price. And every player is going to have to wrestle and decide with themselves, am I buying a box? Am I buying loose packs? Am I just getting singles? Am I splitting a box with some friends? Am I going to a pre-release or a draft night? Everyone is going to wrestle with that because at the premium price it's at, either way, it's going to get the green light to go again for another set. It doesn't matter. It's going to be successful. If you flip the dictionary on June 23rd and said, see successful, you are going to see that Lord of the Rings set there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's great. You guys can all say I'm wrong in the comment section. You can say, hi, you're wrong. But we all know it's going to be successful. Even if you don't like the product or think it's weak and underpowered, like a D&D, remember, D&D was still successful. It sold a lot of boxes. It did. It may have been underpowered, but as a standalone set, just to play with friends, great time. And Lord of the Rings will have that same allure, that same value to players in the long run, which means, do I think this will be an investable product, something you should hold on to a couple of boxes? I'll be honest, I'm probably going to hold on to a little bit. A little bit. I'm not going to say I'm going to buy the jump start, but I'll probably hold on to a little bit because I want to experience it. You know, in retirement, I want to be able to crack a box and just play with it. Have some fun. Stand alone with a few buddies. It's just one of those sets I think that's going to stand out. Now, will next year's set, when Wizards tries to do this again, be as successful? Because, you know, they're going to get the green light. There's no guarantees. Wizards could mess this up and reach for the stars, try to jack up the price again, and they'll meet a wall. They'll meet the ceiling, and we'll slap them with our wallets. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. But this isn't the set that's going to happen. This one's going to be successful, and that price point is the only thing stopping it from smashing to the world and just saying, we're going to print this thing 20 times, because if this was a regular draft box prices, it'd be out of the world already. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here on the channel. For everyone who's been thumbing up the videos, hitting that subscribe button, and tuning in each and every day, turning those notification bells on. Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me to entertain you each and every day. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. And of course, you're at the end. The section, the names, they're flying by from G.I. Joe to Jay, all the way through to Chris B, Abado, Brittany, you're all here. That's right. These are the patrons. These are the ones who make the videos happen each and every day. The names are going by so fast, I can't say them all, but they rock! For those who are asking, I'll probably buy a couple of collector packs as well. Not boxes, but a couple of packs. Just so I can say, like Willy Wonka, I tried my luck. Guys, have an awesome day. See you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. And let's put luck in the comment section. Although if we get to that 20K party by the end of 2023, I'm doing something crazy for this channel. Crazy.